Doing justice through participatory democracy. Listen to KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for an exclusive forum featuring the candidates for LA County District Attorney. Join KBLA's Tavis Smiley as he helps navigate what promises to be a forum full of fire when the candidates trying to unseat current LADA George Gascon come together on stage on the campus of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. Again, it's the LA County District Attorney Forum, live, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580, Saturday morning, January 13th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Helping to raise your civic IQ. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Here's my ghetto story.
This is survival story.
Been to hell through the fire. Gonna take it higher. Here's my survival story.
This is my story.
So many reasons to sing now. Now we got the keys to the kingdom.
I remember those days when hell was my home, when me and mama bed was a big piece of foam, and me never like bathe and my ear never comb. When mama gonna work, me go street go roam. I remember when Danny them take my snow cone and make him lick a bread of them kick up Jerome. I remember when we visit them with pure big stone and the boy Danny pop out something with full chrome. I remember when we run, but I get him knee blown and my best friend Richie get doing I'm down. I remember Sunday Avenue turning a war zone and Mikey mother fly him out cause she get alone. But Mikey got to foreign and got on Al Capone. Make one leap of money and send me no one. Now we all up the city and that is well known. Yesterday Mikey called me on my phone. Me say Mikey, we got the thing them.
Welcome back into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This, of course, is the show where we hit all the trending topics, plus entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. Hour 2, we're going to get into some things, as we always do. As I mentioned, we're going to talk a little Barack and Michelle. And Michelle says that they should not be your couple's goals. And I maintain that people have unrealistic views of what goals is or about relationships, I think. And continuing with the theme of the night, I'm blaming social media slightly. Used to be movies and TV. Now it's that. So listen, back really quickly to, we didn't really talk about Jonathan Majors. We talked about Gabrielle Union having a couple of jokes. Well, one person who does not appreciate Jonathan Majors say that he is looking for his Coretta and that, that's what the woman in his life should live up to, is Dr. Bernice King. She is the daughter of Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King Jr. And she said that my mother wasn't a prop. Be clear. She said my mother wasn't a prop. She was a peace advocate before she met my father and was instrumental in him speaking out against the Vietnam War. Please understand, my mama was a force. So basically, she's saying, keep my mama's name out your mouth. Don't be trying to compare your work to my mom. And I do think that, well, one, he should have stopped using the line so much and just left it as it was and just, maybe said, I want a woman to have traits of greatness and, something along those lines. But continuing to use it, not good, Jonathan. Doesn't work. Andy?
I don't want to dismiss her feelings. I can understand, being sensitive, people talking about your mom or whatnot. But to say that, to reference it as he was using Coretta Scott King's name as a prop.
No. I don't think that's what she's saying.
What is she saying then?
I think that she is implying that the women that he, because remember, this conversation started before all of this public outcry. I think she isn't, well, I could be wrong. She's implying that he's using Megan as a prop and calling her, his Coretta. Because, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's a white woman, then he went and got with Megan, and now he's all, the white woman, I would have been shot if I was chasing her, and, the white woman took me down a little bit, taking a little bit of the manosphere talking points and utilizing him.
I agree he should stop referring to his significant others as Coretta or whatever. But even the prop thing, I just think I'm not a fan of that because I don't view it that way.
Okay.
And maybe I'm a man. I can understand what he's implying by saying that. It's not a prop. It's just I admire this woman. Like you said, I admire the traits. Like I know what he meant when he said that.
I feel like everyone did. They're just. I think the idea that he had the sort of audacity in some ways. Not that realistically, great people, you don't have to dial them down to just race, but we understand why it is important and why we hold our, icons and legends near and dear to our heart and want to protect the image of them. But, in theory, telling someone to ascribe to the traits like she mentioned that her mother had in just what she said isn't a bad thing, no matter who the woman is. But I get it because, he was making a speech. It was like a bit much in the moment because, bruh, you're telling this young girl who you're trying to get to stop being drunk and who you say dabbles in other things and is erratic and violent and get her to understand that she should be Coretta. Coretta already was, to her daughter's point, in that mindset when she was not much younger, but, it was a different time. So the things that she took on, people forget how young Martin Luther King Jr. was when he was assassinated. He was only 38 and they had been married for a while. So I get your point, Andy. I feel you and I understand because it is the traits and goals and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think, a lot of people feel like that the situation, and it might not be, but people feel like it could be, a PR move.
What, the statement?
No, the relationship.
Oh, with Megan Good? I mean, I get that. I get that.
But.
I mean, didn't Megan say we were spiritually married?
Did she say that?
That's what she said, right? Did you talk about this last night?
Did I talk? I don't remember her saying spiritually. Okay, did she say that?
I heard somewhere where
she might have said that. I might have missed that.
And I'm like,
it's possible.
On, for real, Megan. Like,
I don't know. Megan put up a video of her working out in the gym. She looked beautiful as ever, getting it in, shredding. And of course, all the comments were full of, "Get it, Coretta? You guys are mean. I need you to stop, okay? Give us a break. Be nice." Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into Michelle Obama's comments about she and Barack are not your couple's goals. And we're going to talk about that, plus more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580. So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your Black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, on a recent podcast, Howie Mandel's podcast, Raven Simone and her wife were guests, right? And Raven's wife jokingly said that she got Raven to fall in love with her by putting her pad in her pasta sauce. Now, Raven said that she has a little Creole in her. And we all know, we have all heard that tale about menstrual blood in the sauce and it makes the person fall in love with you. You know, Raven, you must be really comfortable to let your wife make those jokes like that because Black people generally don't play about the voodoo stuff or whatever. I don't know. I think they're an interesting couple. They seem to have interesting humor. It's a lot of self-depreciate. Well, I guess it's not self-depreciating, but they kind of joke on each other or whatever, but they seem to really be into it. But sometimes, I don't know, it can be a little cringe, but I guess that's, podcasting with a couple. So my advice, though, Raven, all of us home is going to be, not that they already haven't been, but they're going to have some questions because, and Raven even started joking and said, I do love her pasta sauce. I do ask for it frequently. So I don't know. Maybe the tricks of the trade are out there working. Okay, so obviously everyone has love for our former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle. We followed them. We followed their children, their love story. We bought their books. We got, into all of that with them. And we know couples goals is a big thing. Everyone wants to, put who they think their couples goals are. And then they feel really let down when something happens, the relationship, the couples break up or, some type of other thing that happens within life, or they find out one of the people in the relationship isn't the individual who they thought it was. And so they're disappointed and let down. But I do wonder when the expectation came that relationships are going to be perfect, that if someone loves you, they're never going to make a mistake, they're never going to mess up. That seems unrealistic. And, of course, no one's saying you should stay for bad treatment, but I think people have to get real around what it takes to make relationships grow, right? So Michelle said that she's aware that their relationship appears picture perfect, but that she knows that marriage is two things, hard, and that it requires a lot of commitment for it to work. And she said that, recently she was on Jay Shetty's podcast, And she shared that 31 years, that's the anniversary that they'll have coming up in October of this year. She said, in your relationship, you hit some natural and understandably rough patches, and you want to quit. Over the span of a 30-year marriage, yes, you cobbled together enough arguments, and you've got a decade, and that's just the way that it goes. But you don't quit on it, you learn from it, and that's what sustaining a relationship is. It's the choice to figure it out and not to quit when it gets hard. She adds, we've made a lot of mistakes. We've gotten it wrong. And after 31 years, we're getting better at it. But I wouldn't trade my marriage for anything in the world with all the ups and downs. You know, she said that she does not want people looking at them as couple goals and not to know that there's some broken things that have happened in even the best of marriages, no matter what it looks like from the outside. You know, we all know that when she released her book, Becoming, a lot of people were kind of in an uproar when she shared that there was a good period of time when she didn't like Barack. And I think that that is just the reality of a relationship. Do you like anybody all the time? Be real with yourself. Things happen, and you just have to grow together, hope that your goals remain aligned, and you know, can make it work and come together. So I think that's important because we all love our couples goals. But I really think, like, I know when I say couples goals, it might be, just it could be their overall vibe. But I think any logical person recognizes that there's going to be ups and downs. I don't think that people really, well, I hope they're not really looking for a relationship that's not going to have any trials and tribulations. That's unrealistic, and that's life, and compromise is a part of it. So, good luck out there. It's rough. In these streets, well, I guess it's rough everywhere because if you're in a relationship, you're probably not in the streets, unless. At any rate, listen, I don't know if you've heard this story, but this is very strange to me. And I kind of don't understand what is happening with the owners of this particular building that they are fighting against this. So here's what happened. There's a New York synagogue, and on Monday night, members refused to leave the building because there apparently is a secret tunnel that runs underground and connects the synagogue to a building that is next door, right? And so the members of the synagogue were like trying to fight to stop it from happening. From the city basically wants to close the tunnel up and cut it off, right? And so it got violent, it got chaotic, and it ended up with a bunch of the members being arrested. This happened in Crown Heights. They ordered a cement truck to fill up the tunnels. Reports began pouring in sometime in 2023 from neighbors. One homeowner even called the police about suspicious noises in the neighborhood, and a construction project around the same time that they were coming to install new plumbing found the tunnels, right? And the city and many were worried that the building stability was questionable because, underneath the foundation, there are these secret tunnels. What I don't understand is, why are you fighting to keep them open? Like, what are you secretly transporting through there that it's so important that you're willing to go to jail for the tunnels not to be closed up? And it's a safety hazard. I don't know. People are wilding out in 2024. I don't understand getting into a fight with the police and going jail over a secret tunnel. Sounds freaky. Sounds like some other. I'm not saying that something else was going on in there. We don't know that. It could be perfectly innocent. They might just want their building not to be touched. But it sounds scary to me. I probably have watched too much TV. Therefore, I am going to assume the worst in situations like that. Sounds like maybe not a Lifetime movie, but some movie that is waiting to happen, and it involves kidnapping and things of that nature. Well, we have an update for you. After 2 years of separation, Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa have finally cleared their divorce. They announced yesterday that they were, officially filing, and today the divorce case is settled. I'm not sure what their home state is. I know in California, you need to be legally separated for, I think it's 6 months before you can officially file for divorce and divorce be granted. So I guess, they probably already, it feels like, well, they said they've been separated for 2 years because I thought the divorce officially happened, but I guess maybe it was on its way and then something happened and Jason had to move back in on Lisa's property, but they're always going to be friends and co parent. That's beautiful. Good luck to them in that. Listen, all things change. Okay, so, California, right? We lead the wave. We are the state that, has the best privacy laws, protection laws, things of that nature. Well, there's a new law that is going into effect, and it is starting this July. And it's about nightclubs and bars. Basically, the law is AB 1013, and it will require that all bars and nightclubs keep a basically a roofie testing kit, to test for things like Rohypnol, that's what a roofie is, or GHB or ketamine, because people slip those into drinks and, take advantage of them. So the bill was passed, and according to it, all business owners must offer to sell these kits to their customers at a cost not to exceed a reasonable amount based on the wholesale cost of those devices. So, in other words, no charging $100 for these kits, or they have to offer them for free. And they also have to have signage in all the facilities that read, "Don't get roofied, drink spiking drug test kits available here. Ask a staff member for details." So the law goes into effect July 1st of this year, and it will be repealed on January 1st of 2027 unless reinstated. So I think that's a good thing. Is that something that still actively happens a lot? I thought, well, not I thought, I shouldn't say that, but I don't know. I know it was extremely, uh, is popular even the right word to use? Something that happened quite a bit, but it doesn't seem like something that has been in the news a lot lately, but maybe I've missed it. So the kits will also include a straw, a sticker, and a strip to detect the date rate drugs in any of your drink, right? So, according to the Office of Women's Health, there was a study that was done from 2010 to 2012, and they said that 11 million people reported being raped or assaulted while intoxicated, drunk, drugged, or high. I think it is a little interesting that they chose to. I'm assuming by drugged they mean that they were drugged and not utilizing a drug. That's kind of my question with this because I don't know, and I suppose it generally happens with those things when there's alcohol involved, but I don't know, it just seems weird to me to include in that study regular legal types of inebriation and include date rape studies. I don't know. That just seems a little strange to me. I would like to see the numbers separated out. But they utilized a group of 6,000 students at 3 colleges. 500 of them reported being drugged before. And they also found that 83% of those surveyed said that this is crazy to me. They had drugged someone else. What schools were they chatting with? I just want to know. So, apparently, here in California, again, proving my own self wrong with my notes. Last August of 2023, there was a huge amount of GHB that was seized in San Francisco. According to police and KRON, which is a station in the Bay, they uncovered 3.5 kilos of GHB being smuggled in through a nail salon. And that is more than enough for 3,500 doses. So I don't know. What is wrong? Do you guys just not know how to talk to people? I don't understand if the generation is at the same time not having sex and not wanting to see sex on TV, but they want to drug people in order to have sex. It's all very confusing to me. Okay, so listen, we're going to do a hard pivot here. It's going to be a rough one, but ride with me. We're going to talk a little hip hop. So, of course, we just came off the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and we heard a lot of commentary, a lot of comparison, a lot of lists. We revisited a lot of, old school artists, looked at what should be where, what counts as transformative, what stood the test of time, what did not, etc., etc. Well, Pete Rock, I don't know if you're familiar with Pete Rock and CL Smooth. They had a hit back in the day, Troy. They reminisce over You, a couple other things, and Pete Rock is also a producer. So he says that chasing the money has ruined hip hop, that the bag has become the problem. He said that they should change music to WTF. They're trying to create a narrative that ain't working. Pile driving the culture straight to the ground, we created real history. I don't know what the heck, he didn't say heck, I did, they are creating today, but it sure ain't history or hip-hop. That's a fact. He also says that we lost our integrity by chasing the money. The bag, as they say, has become the problem and the focal point in the culture. It makes it corny when all y'all make it about money. Everyone is extra sensitive about opinions. Soon as you have an opinion, you're a hater. Automatically. Clown stuff. We're all out here working to make better music. Why don't you try and do the same? So, that's just a general assessment of hip-hop. Thought it was interesting. We'll talk more about that on the other side. You're locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports, that's up next.
$1 for a token, hop in the train just to get where I'm going. Popo's after me, I'm running like I'm smoking. Remember those days when I went to bed hungry? All I ever ate was white rice and honey. Big dreams in my head, empty my tummy. Might crack a smile, but ain't nothing funny. I remember playing over needles in the streets. Everywhere I go, a man wants some part of me. Dirty, those hookers and hoes on 11th Avenue, selling bodies for dope. Remember crying, saying that will never be me. Gonna make it someday, gotta be somebody. Say, mommy, don't worry, it's just you and me. But one day we will get
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says D.C. needs to create a new vision for the future of the Chinatown neighborhood. The mayor, who was black, announced the formation of the Gallery Place Chinatown Task Force. The panel will be focused on ways to redevelop the area surrounding Capital One Arena and Gallery Place, which has become a high priority since Monumental Sports announced the pending move of the Capitals and the Wizards. Business owners have cited crime as a top reason they can't operate in the neighborhood. The mayor said the city plans to listen to businesses and put in place whatever is necessary to reduce crime and jumpstart development in the area. MoDOT has awarded the city of St. Louis a $60,000 grant for driver's ed classes. Mayor Tashara Jones says the funds will help kickstart city programs that will help young people learn how to safely use city streets. The mayor, who is black, also says the program will help lessen young drivers' chances of getting into an accident. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Shop the closeout event now at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Valid 1/4/24 to 1/24/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
So, what are you doing this Friday morning? How about you come join the KBLA delegation as we make a historic announcement and unveil our climate justice campaign for 2024. We'll be assembled for this major press conference along with LA Mayor Karen Bass, Ben Jealous, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, and a host of other public and private leaders who are joining us on this journey to justice, climate justice. We can't think of a better way to kick off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, linking social justice and climate justice. So, come join us this Friday morning at 10:30 a.m. at the beautiful MLK Memorial Tree Grove at the top of Kenneth Hahn Park off La Cienega. Once again, that's this Friday morning, January 12th at 10:30 a.m. as we take on the task of elevating the climate conversation by amplifying the voices of those who are most impacted by the climate catastrophes we are all witnessing in real time. KBLA delegation, we hope to see you this Friday morning at KBLA Talk 1580. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king. Climate is king.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, in downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
shot. Nice and smooth has got to be the short shot. A Greg Nice, a Greg N-I-C-E. Dominum bass, so we rock for a fee, not for free. Maybe I'll do it for charity. Now my employer or my employee is making Greg N-I-C-E very M-A-D. Don't never ever think of jerking me. I work too hard for my royalty. Put lead in your ears and drink a cup of tea. Peace to Red Alert and Kid Capri. Ooh la la, wee. I say Muhammad Ali, you say glass just clay. I say butter, you say parquet. It's alright if you wanna make a sway. On my way uptown, took the deuce to the trade. I originate, they duplicate. I praise the Lord and keep the faith. It's alright, keep biting that debate. 92, 1 year later. Peace out, premiere, take me out with the fader.
Welcome back into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, as I was sitting there listening to that, that's what, Gangstar, Nice and Smooth, and who else? It's that Dwick? Is that what that's called? Okay. And he said the year in the song right there, 92. So, what is that, 32 years ago? Wow. So, the thing that I was sitting there thinking about, other than, wow, lyrics were really simplistic for Nice and Smooth. I mean, that was Greg Nice's style, you know. But he liked it. It was, you know, it was a vibe. It was a flow. So, it made me think, one, sometimes, can we really talk all the mess that we talk about some of these newer artists? Because, you know, that was a bop right there. And he said, ooh, la, la, ooh, wee, like twice. Like, this is just it. I'm going to kill him with this. And then I'm going to come back with it. And we were with it. We sing that part out loud. Hi, Andy.
It was pretty basic, but at least you could understand what he was saying.
That is facts. You could.
And it's so crazy because I remember, I'm not going to put the artist out there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to disrespect you. But I do remember listening to an old school classic West Coast. I'm going to just say songs.
Okay.
From a particular album of this artist. And I remember just listening like, these bars were mediocre at best, but swore it was the hardest thing when it came out.
Man, how our palate changes. The other thing that I observed in listening to that, there were so many commercial references. I say butter, you say parquet. There was something else that he threw in there. And, you know, I mean, I suppose there are with different things, like, you know, somebody could do a rap and throw in standing on business. And most people would know, I think, maybe what that was in reference to. But I wonder, as, you know, views are splintered off and people are niched down, but they're not, and not really paying attention over on the other side, do those type of pop culture references, I know that we have them, but they stem from a different place, like those commercials that hit and everybody knows, because the commercial he was referencing at that time was pretty old. A lot of the commercial references and things they throw out were like commercials from the 70s and 80s that you would see when you were homesick from school and things like that. I wonder if there's that type of connectivity in hip hop now. Like, I can, you know, say I might miss it because I'm obviously not of that age group, but I wonder how they connect. And are things like that, you know, is that considered like an interlope? I know it's not. I'm being funny, but I just wonder when you're taking, you know, marketing sayings and things like that and flipping them, is that something that, because we are a litigious society, one day we might see a rapper getting hit from back in the day, like, yeah, you put our whole marketing campaign in your song and it was violent and we disagree. I just wonder, things that I think about. Continuing on the hip hop subject that we were talking about earlier, as far as Pete Rock saying that chasing the bag has ruined hip hop. Lil Yachty also spoke about hip hop not being in a good place. I think it was in November. He also said that he personally focused more on the creative aspect as opposed to the monetary side. I believe you, Yachty. Okay, so no, it's not Yachty, it's Uzi that had the pink diamond in his forehead, right? I can't get my littles mixed up because we're talking about the money. And if you spend $2 million to get a diamond inserted into your forehead for whatever reason, you might be focused on the bag. But I actually think that was Lil Uzi that did that. But Yachty said, because he has that podcast, the state of hip hop right now is a lot of imitation. It's a lot of quick, low-quality music being put out. It's a lot less risk-taking. It's a lot less originality. People are too safe. Everyone is so safe. I'd rather take the risk than take the L. So, I don't know if I believe that, because I think that the ones that do take the risk, they're overlooked. They kind of have, maybe their own little fan base, or they're in a corner of hip hop, but I don't know. Maybe, Andy.
That was Lil Yachty?
Little Yachty said that.
Don't nobody want to hear your opinion, Lil Yachty. I'm sorry.
Even as many, because hasn't he written a couple of hits for people, doesn't he?
He's written a couple of hits, but I don't know. He represents that generation where you could say hip hop has taken a downfall.
Do you think that maybe it's him looking around and seeing kind of where it's at and outgrowing what he used to think was acceptable?
I mean, I like what he said. I understood what he said, but I just think, he represents that generation that, we not too fond of. So I don't know if what he has to say holds any true weight.
That if his peers are checking for it and taking that in.
Yeah, but then again, you have, a lot of the old heads, like you said, what's the brother name you just mentioned just now?
Pete Rock.
Mm-hmm. Some people will call him a hater. So it's like, where do you go? But I agree 100% with what Pete Rock has to say. I just don't want to hear from Lil Yachty because I don't see him
changing anything up or being a leader in that aspect.
Yeah, I don't.
That's okay. I mean, that's fair. That's something to think about. To your point, we talked about it a lot last year that hip hop's impact as far as the charts go was different, a little lesser in 2023. The first hip hop album to go #1 after I think it was 20 plus years. It was in June. It was Lil Uzi Vert's Pink Tape. And before that, the last #1 hip hop album came in December 22. And it was Metro Boomin's Heroes and Villains. So, maybe changing tastes are happening. Maybe we're in for a different sound. It could be time for a pop boom. I don't know. I do think, though, you guys got to stop saying K-pop's going to take over. No shade, maybe a little shade. I just feel like taking 90s R&B from black, and I realize that there are black producers and writers that are going and helping a lot of these K-pop groups. But you're not going to get me to believe that BTS or something like that is better than New Edition in life. You're just not. No shade, no tea.
This new generation will say that.
They absolutely will. And that's why I said me, personally, me of myself, in my opinion, not just because I'm a grown-up, just because I just feel like 90s, because that's what they're doing, 90s R&B, a little 2000, and the routines and stuff, you can't have it. Even in, your version of it, you can do that. When we come forward, we're going to talk about a video that has been circulating online. It is a video of some Japanese kids dancing. And I'll tell you what dance they're doing, and it's kind of along the lines of what I was talking about with K-pop and so forth. All of that on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, children are the future. Here, tobacco companies are committed to higher education, offering scholarships to students who submit essays about the benefits of vaping. The tobacco industry even sponsors summer camps for kids. Don't worry, the tobacco-sponsored programs have been linked to leaving your kids more interested in smoking. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the world's deadliest industry is your child's friend. See reality at undo.org.
Hey LA, save water and put money in your pocket with rebates from LADWP. Start saving with free shower heads and faucet aerators. Then save with every flush when you upgrade to a water-efficient toilet and get a $250 rebate. You can also save on every load of laundry with a high-efficiency clothes washer and get a $500 rebate. That's right, LADWP customers can get $500 rebates on qualifying clothes washers. See all the ways to save at LADWP.com/save.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So I mentioned that there's a video, I believe it's in Japan, that took place. And so it's all Japanese kids, and they're crip walking, and they are, dressed down in their dickies, flannels, bandanas, with the beaters, white undershirt, and that nature, dressed, like the imagery that we generally associate with Crips, right? Or gangsters. They're doing the hand signs. They probably don't know what they're really throwing up. And so there's always that conversation between paying homage and being a culture vulture, for lack of a better term, So I don't know, because it's like you think about things like Gwen Stefani when she had her geisha dancers and stuff like that, and other forms, and it's like you want people to have an appreciation for other cultures and sharing things that we enjoy. But it did feel a little icky watching the video. It did kind of feel like, really? I don't know. But I say that to say, as far as, the K-pop groups and things like that, I think, clearly some of them are really talented and they get their choreography down. They look disciplined. But for me, it's always going to lack that thing, because I feel like we're the secret sauce. And with that, even if you can give a good dupe, you still miss the real thing. It's just that one little off take. So that's just my thought on that. Rounding out our hip hop conversation. Oh, I think I did that already. So shout out to that. Shout out to hip hop. So it's an end of an era. After 27 years, Nike and Tiger Woods have parted ways. It is estimated that Tiger earned $500 million from his partnership with Nike. We know that as soon as he made the decision to go pro and turned 18, he signed on with Nike and really was a leading force in that industry. But as of late, there's no word right now where he will be signing or who he will be getting into business with. He released a statement and he said that Phil Knight's passion and vision brought this Nike and Nike Golf partnership together. I want to personally thank him along with the Nike employees and incredible athletes I've had the pleasure of working with along the way. He also added, for over 27 years, we have had the honor to, not he, Mike Steinberg, who is Tiger's agent, didn't share what the business decision was not to renew with Nike. But what we can say is that Nike has been pulling back over the past couple of years as far as manufacturing equipment and golf sales of their, apparel and those things it wasn't one of the category leaders for them. It's not something in the grand scheme of things that made them an extreme amount of money. So, perhaps Tiger saw the writing on the wall and wanted to do something else. It is kind of crazy because, Tiger is another one that helped shape Nike. If you look over the course of the 90s, Tiger with the red polo and the hat, making the fist, those are iconic images, and you always think about a swoosh accompanying them somewhere around. So we'll see how that relationship shakes out in the end. It's so interesting. I didn't realize that Tiger Woods was 48. Is he officially retired from golf yet? I know that golf is something that you can play for an extremely long time, but I also know that Tiger has had some issues because he was at one point in time training like a Navy SEAL. And so his career, especially post the phone call and the revelation about his relationship, has been interesting to me. I'm not, a golf expert in that I can make an assessment as to whether or not I think that he will be able to make a comeback. But it is just interesting watching how all of these pieces are coming together and shake down as we advance through time. So there's someone that has pitched themselves to become the new face of Nike Golf. And, listen, believe in yourself. Anybody can have a shot. Ja Rule posted himself in a video on Twitter on Monday, and he was in the video using a driver. It's important to note that that is the club meant for long-range golfing, but he was on a putting green, which you use a different club because you're exercising your short game. So maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe it was two different moments of the day and he just decided to string them together. But Ja Rule's thrown his name in the hat. Perhaps he should work on his golf game first before he digs all the way off into that. Well, speaking of music, I know I mentioned last night that D'Angelo and Jay-Z have a 9-minute song that is dropping soon on the soundtrack for The Book of Clarence, which hits theaters on January 12th. And if the title, The Book of Clarence, didn't give you a clue, it is a comedy-esque. I mean, there's some dramatic parts, but I believe overall it's meant to be a comedy, I think. That deals in biblical times, and it is about a man named Clarence, who is played by Lakeith Stanfield, who does not believe in God, but decides that he is going to pretend to be a Messiah, not the Messiah, but a Messiah, to take advantage of people who believe in the goodness. So some people are upset. They feel like the subject matter is a little sacrilegious. It's wrong that they're mocking God. But I think they should check it out and see for themselves. What I will say is I went to the premiere on Friday, as I mentioned, and I definitely felt like it was a film I would have preferred to watch at home. Um, it was interesting in that I felt that it just kind of jumped into the story but didn't really set me up, and I kind of didn't understand what I was watching initially. But then, as it got into it, I settled in and I enjoyed it. So the soundtrack, we still have those, is dropping as well, and the soundtrack features a bunch of people that, we like to hear from. Doja Cat and Kodak Black have a song on there. James Samuel, who is the director and writer of this piece, also has some music on there because he was a hip hop artist first. So he incorporates his passion for music heavily into all the projects that he works on. And I can't help but wonder if, we always joke about Black Jesus, Black Jesus, Black Jesus, and things of that nature. Is this kind of his version of that story, or his answer in response to all of that on social media? Anyway, back to the soundtrack. Georgia Smith is also on it. Lil Wayne, Shabba Ranks, and Buju Banton have a song on the soundtrack. So, it might be worthwhile to check out if those names get you going. It really, most of these are James tracks, with the featured of the other artists. Kid Cudi's also on there, and a few others. So check that out. As I said, the film comes out Friday. So get into it. Listen, coming up in hour 3. Hour 3 is the after hours. So that's where we get into topics that are a little more salacious, a little more out there. And Kelly Price is an interesting singer. She decided to take to social media to let the people know why she left Sunday Best. And what she had to say is basically she was surrounded by heathens. So we're going to get into Kelly's comments and what she had to say on the other side, and who exactly were the other judges on the panel with her during this time period where she's saying it was nothing but debauchery surrounding her and she had to go. We're also going to get into some comments Chuck D made in support of Madonna. Thought this was an interesting conversation, and so we're going to get into what he had to say and his defense of her. We're also going to talk a little bit about Family Matters star Darius McQuarrie. He had some comments about Corinne Steffens. That was Superhead back in the day. We'll get into that on the other side. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports, that's up next.
Yes, I wanna be, cause I make it orderly. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. The brother who will make you change opinions. Dominions, I'm in them when it's time to kick from the heart. Cause I get a piece of the action. Feeling satisfaction from the street crowd reaction. Chumps pull guns when they feel afraid. Too late, when they dip in the kick, they get sprayed. Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I get more props and stunts than Bruce Willis. A poet like Langston Hughes and can't lose when I cruise out on the expressway.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network.